Hey, hey everyone. It's Anahata. I have the immense honor of introducing someone whose life work is, God, it's like a living prayer to the earth. And she's coming from the future right now, Jill Berryman. She has spent over, and why I say that is she's in New Zealand, so she's ahead of us. She has spent four, not one, not two, not three. I always say, God, it's been a decade. She spent 4 decades thus far guiding human growth through education across Australia and New Zealand. And I find her work, it's such an honor that she even resonated with my stuff because her stuff is so next level. And it goes beyond, traditional classrooms and really has evolved into this really sacred guiding with others in the natural world. And so she's a woman after my own heart. I always feel I'm too far in the digital space and I want to just be out there doing it. And that's what she's doing. She is a certified nature and forest therapy guide. And now I get to call her a certified water activation practitioner. And she's now weaving that wisdom of the earth and the intelligence of the water through the presence of forest in a way that's just so intriguing to me. And it's deeply healing, grounding, and expansive work that I can't wait to be a part of when I go visit her. And so let's go back to 2022. She had been holding space for a community-based nature connection. And what came to her is forest bathing experiences. I mean, yes, it's that cool. So gently walking others home to themselves through the beauty of their own local landscapes. And doesn't that just sound like something you want to do? Go take a forest bath? Yes, please. And so her approach really reminds us that we don't need to travel far to find magic, and that the sacred is already here in the rustle of leaves and the breath of wind and the stillness of a pond. And now, with water activation as part of her medicine bundle, if you will, she brings even more depth to this reconnection work, supporting people to align with both the natural and cosmic currents. And so it is my honor and joy to welcome the newest certified water activation practitioner, Jill. How are you doing, my love?
Thank you for that wonderful introduction, Anahata. It's been a joy to work with you because I was just thinking years ago, maybe even 10 years ago when you were first starting your downloads with the codes, I you kept popping into my emails and I don't know, way back. So I don't know, there was some sort of thread that was joining us for a long time, and I've done a few courses with you. So, yeah, I'm really excited to be part of the water activation. It was just amazing. So,
Yeah,
thank you for that.
yeah, and tell us a little bit about that. I mean, you're already familiar with alchemy and water and trees and energies, but what really was there any portion through the especially the 5 sessions you had to complete along with the coursework? Was there a moment when you were like, oh my gosh, this is a connecting dot that perhaps you had been missing before? I don't want to assume maybe you knew it all, but
Yeah, it was interesting because you really encouraged me to do the water activation, and I couldn't, it wasn't clear at the time how I could make the links, but it definitely is now because it's an extra you know process or a activation, I guess, that I can offer people as part of being in nature. And it is a big part of nature because everywhere we're lucky enough to live on an island. So everywhere that we step, we have water around us. So it's very much part of our landscape and our space here, as well as, in our bodies. As you've said, we're 99% water. So it's just just constant. So yeah, I guess I always loved being in water. I've always been a water creature. I love to swim and be in water. So this is just another part of it, I guess. But doing it with the clients was the real you know, amazing connection for me too. Just doing that was incredible.
Yeah, and is there a highlight moment from one of the sessions you've done so far that kind of you go, wow. I always say you can't make this up because it's just so uncanny what comes forth and the processing that takes place, especially with the past, present, future combining into
Mm.
the now and moving forward holistically. Any special session moment you want to share without giving the person's name away, of course?
Yeah. Yeah, one of the sessions that I did that was really interesting, we actually had to repeat it at one point because we got interrupted. So there's something about the flow that's quite important doing it. And the first time we did, I think it was the present, it just didn't make any sense. So I said, well, we'll just do it again. So we did it the next morning again. And I mean, the information that we got at that point was just amazing because it answered all her dilemmas and questions that she'd had that we'd talked about the day before. And it was just all about heart connection and using, frequency to really connect in that space, which is what she was asking about. So it was just amazing that just making a little bit of extra effort to connect very strongly with her wishes and desires and what intention she brought forward. As a new practitioner, it was just amazing that I could get that result with a little bit of perseverance and sticking with, the intention of what she really wanted to find out and connect with.
I love
Yeah.
that. And as I always tell people, you can't do it wrong. And also, you don't have the answers. So some people may be like, well, I couldn't, be a practitioner because it seems too complex. To me, it's the most simple thing. You're holding space for someone through their rantings, expressing their dukkha, their pain, both things they want that they don't have and things they have that they don't want. And when you come into that centerfold of pure radical acceptance for what is in eager anticipation of what can be now that you've visioned it as a wish fulfilled, um, the fun part to me about being on these adventures, I think of them as adventures when I go and have a session with someone because it's like you never know what's going to come up. And it's not your job or my job as a practitioner to know or have the answers. You merely hold the space and they magnetize the perfect codes.
Mm.
As you said, when you allow them to have that space. And then from there, it's just like, so has this process been surprisingly more easy or more difficult than you thought it would be?
Actually, it's actually easy, and I can relate to it in my forest bathing work because I just become the sort of facilitator because as we say that the forest is the therapist, and it's like the water becomes just the whole part of the process. I don't know whether you could call it a therapist, but anyway, it mirrors exactly what the person is wishing and desiring in their lives. So it actually is quite easy when you're in the zone and really there for your the person that you're trying to assist. It is very easy and amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's also cool that you can do it from anywhere in the world to anywhere in the world. So
Mm.
your sessions, although you live in a magical sounding island and you seem to have a nice group of people around you that are open to this, some
Mm.
people live in areas where it's like no, people have no idea about any of this. And so to me, it's like amazing that you just need an internet access. That's it. And you can reach
Yeah.
anyone on any part of the planet. Um, so the ease at which you can do this works for anyone. I want for you to explain what is forest bathing and how did that come? I want to get the juicy story behind all of this and what went into that uh, discovery and that gelling. And also, do you host gatherings or are you just how do people participate in these baths?
Yeah, it's interesting. Everyone always says, "Oh, do you bring your swimmers or your togs?" In New Zealand they say togs. I don't. In Australia they say swimmers. But yeah, there's no jumping in the water usually involved. But you can put your feet in, of course. But yeah, I guess it's I was actually inspired doing your lunar cycles because now I do them every month on the new moon. I used to do it on the full moon, and people I didn't get people coming, which was interesting. But on the new moon, it really attracts people to come and be quite centered and focused on their way forward. So yeah, there's different ways I do it. I do it on in sometimes at the beach. I've done like sunrise sessions where we've watched the sun come up for special solar events or sometimes lunar events, even though we don't see the moon. But it kind of works because people are just really connected with the energy that is in the space, and I try to enhance that with lovely warm blankets and cushions if it's cold, which it does does get here quite often. It's not like Florida, unfortunately. But yeah, it's just a way of people slowing down, I guess, and just connecting with themselves and the wisdom of the trees and the landscape and the water and just all the energy from the sky and the earth is just incredibly powerful, and it doesn't really take much for people to get really into a space where they just take on the wisdom of the land because I find that very powerful here because we have a very strong indigenous presence in this land. And I think we have quite a special energy down in this this part of the world. Seems to attract a lot of interesting um, connections on many levels, and people can do it quite easily if they just take the time to slow down. I think that's the best thing because the land and the trees doesn't communicate the same as us. They take things much slower, and they have to develop a relationship, and if you just sit with a tree or even you can sit with a pot plant if you're at home. Even a picture does sometimes work for people that, can't engage outdoors. Yeah, it's just a matter of slowing down, connecting with that heart space, and really just listening to what comes through because the power of the nature is quite magical. And if you could go with an intention or a wish or a desire, so it's a bit like the water activation in that way. And the wisdom and the information that you receive is just incredible. And there's lots of physical and mental and spiritual benefits as well. So, it's a win-win on whatever level you do it, just to be out in the fresh air and the nature and the colors and the sounds. So it's a very sensual experience. And it's just a whole calming of the whole nervous system. And it's just amazing what can come through on all sorts of levels. So
I
yeah,
know,
give
I
it a try.
know. I haven't been there with you, but the moment you spoke about it, I was like, oh my God. And in my own way, I'm sure I've done that before, but how nice to have someone like you to be able to set that space and anchor in that resting moment. And it is pretty cool to know that the new moon is when people are gravitating towards this rather than the full. And it makes complete sense in terms of the energetics of what's happening. The new moon is a place of emptiness and now what? Of intention and hope and desire and excitement, and you've emptied yourself and now you're moving forward. Whereas the full moon, you're just like the apex and it's more of like a woo versus a shh. So that makes sense to me. You are now continuing on with hydrosomatic somatics,
Hmm.
and this is opening up a whole new recipe book, if you will, of
Mm.
energy in the form of tones that you are now going to be able to sing into being, play into being. speak into being, and tell me how you're enjoying hydrosomatic somatics so far.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, it's a whole big new new experience for me. It's I'm just taking it slowly because I'm one of these ones that can get into overwhelm with a lots of new information. But yeah, I've just been looking at the sound work and the color work. So I can see, there's just so many links to what we've already been doing. And even on the radio this morning, I was hearing about quantum entanglement. So I'm sort of getting my head around some of the, concepts that are being presented, just to sort of engage with them and learn all this new information, which I know is about remembering and mirroring the stuff that, we already know. But I'm just, yeah, I'm really loving it.
Yeah, and I'm so glad that you were brave enough to say, look, I'm just taking it little, bites at a time and not really stressing myself out, because I think a lot of people assume because there is so much to it that they've got to be somehow like a I'm ready to study for my PhD, and that's just not the case. That's not how I work. It's nonlinear, and every time you take a deeper dive into any of the courses, you're going to get something new out of it that you maybe didn't before. And it's like a layering, a layering, a layering. And then suddenly, wow, you've really got something special for the world through this. As you said, it's a remembrance. And we don't need to know how quantum physics works scientifically, but I provide that because I like to be. I'm the strangest Pisces you'll ever meet, half dreamy and really watery and otherworldly, and half okay. But how does this really actually scientifically work? So
Mm,
it's a nice balance, I think, in my courses. But to your point, you don't have to know. But when you're ready, you will start hearing things and knowing things in new ways as it layers on and on and on. The journey continues. So,
mm.
what are you excited about moving forward with your work? You're going to be doing sessions individually with people. What can someone expect when they book you for a session? Is it 60 minutes, 90 minutes? And then what are some of the things you'll support them through during that journey?
Yeah, I'm going to connect with people. You can find me on my Facebook site. I've got a site called Kakariki, which is a Māori word meaning green, but that's the best place to find me. And I'll be offering sessions of up to 90 minutes, I think is a good length, because people just need a little bit of time to work out, their full wishes and desires at that time. And we've done some work just based on, looking at intentions, and also around looking even at the chakras and working on your own energy systems that way. So pretty open to what people want to talk about and work through. So yeah, just get in touch and we can work out together what best suits you, and I can do it one on one, and that's can be arranged on my Facebook site.
Awesome.
So
And
yeah.
guys, I'll put the link to her profile in the description. So if you're like, but where? What was that word? I don't speak Maori. I don't either. But we can just go to the description and click the link there to connect with Jill. And I want to mention this isn't just for mindset work. Would you agree? This is
Yeah.
physical, spiritual, emotional, physical. It can be relationship related, wealth related, health related, purpose, passion related. Or is
Hmm.
there a specific niche that you tend to find people seek you out for? Is there a specific problem you specialize in, or
Uh,
or is this
Actually, the clients that I've had so far, it's varied. Some of them were physical, and got amazing responses to see that, perhaps what was behind the physical, but also it could be relationship, family dynamics. It seems to come up quite regularly with different clients I've dealt with. Yeah, there's always some sort of trauma involved, but yeah, we're just trying to get the best outcome for, you know, getting some clarity on what the wishes and desires might be moving forward. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's my
and you can do one session, and also if someone loves it, it's been the case for me many times where someone will do one session and then they're like, "Oh my gosh, I need like five more of these because this was amazing." And then, are you planning on offering, not to put you on the spot, like a package where you get a discount per if you book like more than a few?
Yeah, definitely. That would be an option moving forward because sometimes you need some time just to go away and process things, and then I'm happy to, we can get back together and work on another session if there's further questions or issues that come up that you want some more clarity about.
Yeah. And I want to mention one more thing is, guys, as much as this is woo woo, I always like to say out of woo into true, because as I was articulating earlier, this is energy work, but to your point, we are over 90% water molecularly, and the water is the memory of your body. And so all of your trauma is held and all of the resonance that keeps you stuck, uh, unhappy, ill, and in general disease is literally held in the water of your body. So if you can get all of you on board with your vision and let go of the current version of you that you are clinging to for valid reasons, right? If your leg hurts, it hurts. It's a thing. But you can work through it, mind, body, soul, through water, to where this is neuroplasticity at its finest. And this is seeing the new you, understanding what the bridge will be, and then being able to be okay with where you're at, regardless. And if we're
Mm.
being honest, all of our goals, desires, hopes, it's because we think we'll feel a certain way when we get there. But if we can feel that way now, that's what the codes do through water. It helps you
Mm.
to embody the resonance that's required, quite frankly, the you that needs to be ahead of the curve, I always say, and it collapses that wave potential into physicality. So this is very quantum, and it can happen very, very quickly. As you said, people are like getting results and going, "Oh gosh, that's exactly the underpinnings." And knowledge is power. If you see clearly the fragmentation and you can return to wholeness, that's what healing truly is. So,
Yeah.
it's neuroscience meets flow state, joy of the journey. It's an autotelic um, embodiment once you really understand what you're missing, and the fact that it's not really missing. You just have forgotten it, and when you remember it, then there it is, and suddenly your life clicks into place, and you can say enough to those old stories, vision the future, knowing that you'll get there, and then take the steps to
Mm.
be in coherence with that narrative ahead of the curve. And then what happens is synchronicities. Let's talk about that before we end. Is you were saying off air before we came on, it's amazing how more and more synchronicities keep seemingly. How do you feel about the where we are as a collective, and how all of these coordinations, the more aware you are, the more aware you are, and suddenly
Mm.
it's like all these things are happening, and it's beyond comprehension, but there's a plan, it seems. And when you ask, you receive. Have you been seeing a lot of synchronicities lately?
Yeah, it's interesting because you were talking about the power of the water and bringing in the visions of your goals and desires, and the more you kind of tap into this, the more that these unseen, I suppose you can say unseen, um, synchronicities or desires just kind of manifest, I guess, and appear in many sort of magical ways. And it's just about like this is what we talk about in forest bathing. It's amazing about noticing, and sometimes you just got to start noticing and think, oh, okay, what was that little sign or what was that? Like I keep seeing rainbows at the moment, and I'm going, wow. Why am I seeing so many rainbows? It's just like every day I'm seeing rainbows. I went, oh, this is really neat. And even when my mum just passed, I was feeling really sad and walked outside, and there was just this massive, massive rainbow in the sky. And I went, oh, wow, thank you, mum. She was up there watching. So, yeah, it's just actually just starting to really be aware and watching and noticing because they're there and the synchronicity is amazing. And with water, people go, they suddenly go ta-ting. They suddenly get it about the water and you've talked about Veda Austin, who is also from this part of the world. So we've got a few magical people down here. Someone said to me, "Oh, so those pictures that she takes, all that crystallography. If you just drink that water, it works." Within you. And I went, yeah, 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 that's how it can work too. So it's amazing that people suddenly start to, make the connections themselves too. So it's pretty powerful stuff. So yeah, I love it.
Yeah, and I adore Veda. She's one of I've been following her for so long and finally got on her radar and sent her my books. And she's just got such rapid, amazing success with her book that it'll be a while before we collaborate, but I absolutely know we will. It's destined. And,
Mm,
she has talked about quite frequently eating the ice, right? Because it's medicine. And
mm,
indeed, the water is medicine. When you infuse that with the codes and intention and the relief, the antonym of whatever it was that was holding you under the water of contentment, on the vibrational scale,
mm, mm,
contentment is here and higher is rising. Lower discontent and lower is density. And it just doesn't feel good. It's not bad. It's just we don't want to hold ourselves under there for longer than we need to. And a lot of us get addicted to our dense vibrations on a physical level, like literally, it's our identity. So we don't feel like it's us unless we are, that demeanor becomes your personality and your personal reality. So I feel like water activation is a way to get okay with where you're at, like
mm,
really feel like, everything's okay, even if it's not okay, and then have that dreaming that feels somehow closer than it was before. And in it feeling that way, you do start unlocking the paths to those
mm,
timelines ahead of the curve. And, your missing link could be something in the codes. We are about to wrap up, but I wonder, would you like to pull a code for everyone between 8 and 233?
cool. Yes, that would be great. Um, Let me see, 8 and 233. I'll say 55.
Oh, woo! You got a biggie there. What's been happening with the fives has just been extraordinary. Okay, there are seven codes. What will the majority of the people listening to this, one through seven, appreciate?
Let's see. I'll say 7.
Yeah, I felt that too. Oh, girl, you just got one of the best codes in the book. So you went into the crystal category and you're with
Yeah.
the Chrysocolla. And the code is here, guys. I'll put it in the description. But this is an earthy, reconnective crystal. It's very community based, finding your soul tribe. And look, you don't have to know anything about it. You look it up. What are the healing qualities of Chrysocolla? So I challenge everyone who's listening to this today to take Jill's gift of Chrysocolla and encode the assisting frequency in water. The instructions will be in the replay. Book a session with Jill, drink that water. If you research Chrysocolla and you're like, wow, I really do need that vibration, then book a session with Jill. That was her gift to you. And I know it's going to resonate with so many people. And I'm going off of memory because that was one of the tribal codes I pulled probably 6 or 7 years ago, and I had a 60-minute class on how amazing Chrysocolla is. So I know it's a
Wow.
goodie. I've forgotten all of the ins and outs, but that's the cool thing about this work. You don't have to memorize anything. And in fact, that's how all this came to me, was because I was getting frustrated with having to memorize the sheer amount of information for one crystal, let alone hundreds, let alone other categories. And I thought, you know what? I don't need to know. The vibration speaks for it. And that's how it comes through so perfectly. And so thanks for the code. Is there anything else you want to say to everyone before we leave today?
Yeah. Just have a magical day and start noticing and just be really activated with, trying these sessions with the water because it is amazing. The feedback that I've got has been incredible and people love it. Thanks for
Yeah.
having me, Anahata.
Oh, you are so welcome, my dear. Congratulations. And I can't wait to see what you're going to do and birth through the rest of this journey that we're taking together. Now that you
Yep.
are in the full kit and caboodle, so to speak, and we're moving forward into hydrosomatic somatics and some other really earth changing in a good way.
Mm.
Not changing because it's bad now, simply taking back our power as co-authors of the space we're in and really moving forward in our sovereign power to collapse timelines of potential into being. And so, for your role that you're playing in that weave, Jill, I honor you. Thank you so, so much for being a steward of this work and for helping others in your neck of the fractal. Because, as you said, your area is very juicy energetically. It's very, very on the
Sure
pulse
is.
of the leading edge. And so, just being here on this planet with you and working with this water together is just such an honor. And I adore you.
Thank you very much. It's been
Uh,
wonderful.
you're welcome. All
Adore you
right.
too.
So, guys, check out the description if you want to book a session with Jill. Friend her, follow her, look up Chrysocolla, get in that description. And then if you're like, maybe I'm hearing a call to do this sort of work, you can. There's two ways. You can go to watercolorsound.com, and also the water activation certification is included in the hydrosomatic somatic certification at watercolorsound.com. So go there, check it out, and be on this path perhaps with us, with Jill, with the other, gosh, I think it's 45 now practitioners in training, and Jill is
Mm.
number 4 to have passed.
Wow.
Yay. All right, my
Thank
dear.
you.
Thank you so much, everyone. We'll see you
Yeah.
next time. God bless and
Thank
bye for
you.
now.
Bye.